Welcome everybody to another Melffy deck profile. I have made a Melffy deck profile before and I'm just trying out different ways to play this deck. So this time it's a it's of course the most of the cards are Melffys, but I've also put in a Sprite engine in it with the cheapest cards of Sprite that there are, because they can make it so you can extend on a way better board than you normally can with only Melffys. And the Sprite engine also makes it so you can play second way better, because Melffys very hard struggle going second. So let's get into the deck profile. So first of all, we play 3 Wally. Melffy Wally is the best card in this deck. It's just the best card in the entire Melffy strategy. There's nothing much to say. This card, when every Melffy says the same thing. Whenever your opponent special summons a monster or declares an attack on them, you can activate their effect on the field. Then if it resolves, they get bounced back to the hand and then they do something. So Melffy Wally says, when that happens, you can special summon 2 Melffy cards from your deck to your field. So that's an amazing card. This card is a easy 3-off. You can also cut it down to 2 in the Sprite engine, because there's a lot of ways to search this card. Next up is 2 Melffy Puppy. Melffy Puppy is an amazing card because, well, it's not that amazing, but it is a strong and interesting card, because Melffy Puppy says when it is bounced back to the hand of its effect, you can special level 2 or lower beast monsters from your deck. So if you so this is a starter for Melffy Wally if you can't find it, and it also can summon Calentosa, which that card destroys a card on the field. So this is a very strong card. Next up is 2 Melffy CATTY. Melffy CATTY is now getting seen a lot of play because of the fact that Melffy CATTY searches a Melffy or a beast monster from your deck to your hand, which is a very strong effect. There's nothing much really to say about this card, but it can't find every beast. But it is mostly paired together with Melffy PINNY. Melffy PINNY is a tuner of the deck that came in, I think, in Power of the Elements, yes. And this card doesn't have an on-field effect, but this card says when a Melffy monster is bounced back in that turn, you can activate this card's effect in hand to then, if it resolves, it special summons itself and immediately synchro summons a monster from your extra deck, using Melffy monsters from your hand. So you at least have CATTY effect, search this one, and then you can use this effect for a synchro 4, which they have, of course, in the extra deck. And in your end phase, you can attach this card from the graveyard to a Melffy Xyz monster on the field. So that's also an effect that is there, but a lot of people forget about it. Then we play 1 Melffy Fanny. Melffy Fanny is just in there because I really love Melffys and I think it's just a cool card. This card says when it's returned to the hand, you can special a beast of level 2 or lower from your hand. So when you draw Calentosa, you can use this card's effect to summon that Calentosa from hand, then to pop a monster again. Or a card, sorry, from the field. There's nothing much. I mostly use it for engine or for fodder. But it still can be used, and I think it's a cool card, but it is pretty useless. Then we play 1 Melffy Pony. This card is actually great. This is a very strong card. This card says when it's returned, you can target 1 level 2 or lower beast and add it to your hand. This card can make it so you have way more plays the next turn if you are out of resources. So keep that in mind, that this card can make it so you have a lot of more resources in the game. So you can have a lot of a grindier game. Then I play 2 Calentosas. I bumped this down from 3 to 2 because you never want to see it actually. And I now have a lot of more other cards in it. This card says when it's special summoned to the field because of a beast effect, you can pop a card on the field. That's it. So it's an extra interruption in your opponent's. So that's really cool. Then we play 3 Nimble Beavers. This card is also very crazy. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 Nimble monster from your deck. So So this actually summons itself, and then you can go into a lot of XZ plays, like for instance, Gigantic Sprite, Detached Gigantic Sprite, Special Summon a Sprite Jet Effect, etc. This card is very cool and that's pretty good. Then we play 3 Rescue Cat. This card is interesting and it makes for a lot of interesting plays, but sadly I don't really get to use this card effectively. For now, it is a cool card. It's interesting. It does a lot of plays. It can also lock your opponent into or not being able to use spells with Naturia Beast, which I have in this deck. But most of the time, I rather make a better end board than use that combo. This card can tribute, by the way, tribute itself to special summon 3 or level 3 or lower beast monsters from your deck, but their effects are negated. Then for the Sprite engine, I play 3 Jet because this is just a cheap version. This card is just 5 cents. Everybody can have it. When you have a level 2 on field, you can special summon this card and then search a Sprite, spell, or trap card. So that's it is something. It is a good card and it's only 5 cents. You mostly use Sprite cards for extension. So you normal summon a level 2 or something else, and then you can special summon, make Gigantic, and then go further from there. Then I play 2 red. What you normally do is you only play 1 red, and then you cut a lot of cards like these 2 for blue. But I don't have blue because blue is just way too expensive. This card can tribute summon. Can of course special summon itself if you have control at level 2. Every sprite does that. And this card, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can tribute a level 2 monster and negate that effect. If you tribute it, you can also tribute a link 2 or a rank 2 monster, but then the monster is also destroyed. Then I play 1 Sprite Pixie because I want a lot of more sprites. You can cut this card for a Sprite Blue. But it's just a hand trap that can buff your level or rank 2 monsters. And it's just an extender because I can also special summon it. Then I play 1 Carrot. Carrot is then spell negation. It does the same as red, but then as a spell. And it can also special summon itself. Nothing much. Then we have some extra beast cards. For instance, Hop Ear Squadron. I will definitely cut this card. It's not that great, but it was just cool to play it. But I never saw any use, and whenever I saw it, I didn't want to see it in my hand. But this card can quick synchro summon from your hand. That's it in your opponent's turn. So it can have some interesting plays, but not in this deck. So I will definitely cut it out for it. Then we have 1. I have to read this card. Velerfon, Mystical Beast of the Forest. It's just an extender, it's just an earth tuner that you can special summon with Rescue Cat. And you use Mind Mole to make Naturia Beast for the spell negation, but I never got to see this card. This card can also normal summon. Activate this effect, discard a level 2 monster to special summon a level 2 beast monster. So this card can also be an extender to get into Gigantic Sprite, to get in Sprite Jet, to get in something. But I rather not play this card. You can rather play, instead of this engine, you can play like 3 that's Sprite Starter. And as last we have Mind Mole. Mind Mole is just in here for the Naturia Beast play to special summon with Rescue Cat. And when this card is used for a synchro summon, you can just draw a card for free. So there's nothing much to say. They're just for that combo. And then I just tried these 3 hand traps. Just play Ash. Ash is just way better in this format. Against my locals, definitely. Everybody plays branded they're over there. So they're just play Ash. Just play Ash. Just play Ash. Then for the spells, I played 2 Melffy tag. This was a card I tried out. And I really like this card. I think this card is amazing. I think this card is very good. But I rather play it at 1. This card just special summons a Melffy from the graveyard. It is not that great. It's not that strong. but it still can have some follow-up in your, and it can make it so if your opponent like kaijus your Melffy Wally, you just on the summon, you just activate Melffy tag, special summon Wally back, so you can still, you still have the. We have one sprite starter. This is just a free card searcher and an interruption if you can make it an interruption. It's not that great, but it still is something. This card will be way better if you have Sprite Blue or Sprite Sun. Then for the last spell card is a very strong spell card. It's Melffy Hide and Seek. This card, I can never say how much I like this card. If this card is on the field, each time a beast monster would be destroyed by card effect, it is not. Well, once per turn. Well, yeah, once per turn, yes. And you can, the second effect, you can target 3 beast monsters in your graveyard, return them to the deck, and then draw a card. So there's nothing bad about that. Just a free draw card and a free protection. It's searchable with Melffy of the Forest. Yes, please. Then for the trap cards, I played 3 Infinite Impermanence. It's just a hand trap negate. Nothing much to say. Thank you. Thank you. And then for last but not least, the strongest card is just one Sprite Double Cross. It's also searchable with the Sprite card. And this card has just so much interruption. I let you read the card on your right. Because it does a lot for interruption and it's just searchable and you always end up with at least a Link monster and an Exceed monster. Then we go into the extra deck. I played 2 Merry Melffys. This card, when synchro summoned, it can bounce a card on bounce a monster back to the owner's hand. So this is a very, very strong card for Mirror Jade or against Mirror Jade. And when your opponent declares an attack, you can throw this card back to special summon a Melffy of the Forest or a Melffy Exceed monster from your extra deck, which can be interesting. It is not that great, but it is something. You can put this card to 1, but I really like it at 2. Then I play 1 Naturia Barkion. I never ever summon this card. I never be able to summon this card. But it's still a trap negation, so if you find a way, which there is plenty of ways to get to this card, you can make it so your opponent can't use trap card. But I will definitely side this card out because I never use it. Then we play 1 Naturia Beast. This is just a spell negation. It's an amazing card. Your opponent just can't activate spells. And then I played 1 Desert Locust. It's just an extra interruption. It's just funny. There's nothing much more I can say about this card. I will probably side it out for now because I don't have Excel Synchron to come in some extra plays. But yes, I will just side it for now. I played 2 Joyous Melffys. This card is an interesting card. I will definitely cut it down to 1 because you can throw it back, but what this card says is quick effect in your opponent's turn. Only your opponent's turn, so no quick effect. You can target a Melffy Exceed monster on the field, bounce it back to the extra deck. Then you can special summon beast monsters for level 2 or lower that are in the graveyard up to the materials of that monster. So most of the time this card has 2 material. You can throw this card, you can target himself, throw it back, and summon 2 beast monsters, so like 2 Melffys, or maybe Galantoses to pop another card. Maybe you have 2 Galantoses in the graveyard. That card not once per turn, and you can destroy it. So you can probably play 1 card, one of them. Then I play 2 Merry Melffy of the Forest. This is Joyous Melffy, yes. Melffy of the Forest. This card is a searcher. It can negate a monster on the field if a Melffy is returned to the hand. And that monster is negated, its effects are negated then and can't attack. So that's this card is very strong against Kashira. Very strong. I played 1 Cat Shark just to bump over some towers. Never saw this card, but the only reason this card is in there is just to boost Joyous Melffy. So it becomes 4000, and that's it. Nothing much more to say. 1 ONIBIMARU. This card won me a game. I had a very strong board. but my opponent. But this could just banish my opponent's monster, and I could attack for game. It's just generic 2, just so I know. I played 1 gigantic sprite. This card makes this deck work very well. I will definitely play 2 of it if I have more of this card, but I just don't want to spend the money on it, because I don't have any sprite blues and there's nothing special about it. Then we have, for the last Xyz monster, we have 1 Zeus. It is Zeus. I have nothing too much to say. You can read the card. This card is everywhere. Just buy it. For the Link monsters, I play 1 Mischievous Radiant. I really like this card. You can use 2 Earth monsters to make this card. Every Earth monster is buffed by 2, and every Wind monster is decreased by 500. And when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add an Earth monster from your graveyard back to it. It just buffs up your whole field. Nothing bad to say about it. Then our last is Bujinki, the Ashima. I don't know how you can say it. This card just is an extra interruption if you special summon Sprite Jet to search the Sprite Double Cross to take control of one of your opponent's monsters. And when it's summoned, you can make, if you have another 2 in hand, and of course you have always a 2 in the graveyard because you want to summon him this way, you can special summon with this effect Melffy of the Forest, and then you can detach Melffy of the Forest to search Melffy Wallaby. It's great. And then for the last, the side deck. There's nothing special about the side deck, and this side deck will definitely be thrown away. But the side deck is always, what do you have in the side deck for your load? So I played 2 Kaijus, never saw the card, but Kaijus are just very strong to put on towers on your opponent that you can't out. Then I played 1 Lancia. I only have 1 Lancia. I never saw the card, but it's just very strong against this meta for your opponent not being able to banish. Harpy Saddleduster, always strong. Traptricks are nowhere to be seen anymore, but still this card can be very strong against a lot of players. Same for Lightning Storm. It can destroy every face-up attack position monster or spell or trap cards. Nothing much to say. It's just a very great board breaker for go second. And because you're struggling to go second, it's not that bad. 3 Ghost Spell. I played 3 Ghost Spell for the branded players because they can lock me. There's nothing much bad to say. It's just an hand champion. And then we played 3 Token Collectors. There are some people that still play the how do you say it again? The Sword Soul deck. They're just there. These are just there for them. There's nothing much to say. If you want to make Baron, you can. And then last but not least, we play 3-dimensional barriers. This card just says no. It's a very good go. If you know you're going first, you can side this in and definitely get way more resources out on the field because of this effect. So this was the deck. There's nothing special about it. It is I really like this deck, but sadly this deck is just not competitive enough at the moment in this meta. I rather let you play some other decks that are way better than Melffys. Especially against Branded. If they have Branded lost, this deck is awful because every Melffy activates on the summon and you can't react to the summon. It's just, sadly, it is the truth. It is the truth, sadly. But after this, I have a very interesting deck that I'm going to build. I just received all the cards, so look forward to a very interesting deck profile. Thank you all for watching and have a nice day.